Now we move on to a segment that feels like the perfect mix of purpose and poetry. On the hot seat, we have Miss Ishpreet, a social entrepreneur and co-founder of Sanchi Sikhya Foundation, who chose to come back and work at the grassroots to reimagine education in Punjab. Her journey reflects both courage and commitment to creating real systematic change. And joining her is Dr. Sunaina Jain, assistant professor, poet, editor, and an award-winning literary voice. From academic spaces to literary platforms, her work beautifully blends thought, expression, and storytelling. This one promises to be thoughtful, inspiring, and perhaps a little reflective as well. Please welcome them both with a huge round of applause.
Hi, a very good evening, and thank you for such a generous and warm introduction. I welcome Ishpreet Kaur. And after this fun, exciting, and amazing conversation that we just had, let us see how thoughtful and reflective this one would be. I'll start with a quote by Margaret Mead, who famously said, "Never doubt that a small group of committed, thoughtful people, citizens, can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." So today I'm going to be in conversation with a change maker who has worked at the grassroots level, co-founder of Sanchi Sikhya, which is an NGO, and who believes that education is not merely transmission of knowledge, but it is also transformation of ideas, right? So I welcome you, Ishpreet, and let us get going. My first question to you, every meaningful initiative, now that I just mentioned that she is the co-founder of Sanchi Sikhya, every meaningful initiative has a defining moment. So what kind of prompted you to start or get attached or find this, NGO, Sanchi Sikhya?
Good evening, everyone. Sat Shri Akal. I think a simple response to, or I would say like a direct response to that question is because we all were from here. I am from Patiala. So the thought was, अगर हम नहीं करेंगे तो कौन करेगा, है ना? The thought was very simple because this was something which I think after finishing my school from rural Patiala, I moved to Thapar University, fortunately. The exposure and access helped me to travel outside Punjab also. So back in 2013, I think it started, and I would say like there was no one defining moment. It happened organically. But the thought was that after finishing masters, I'll come back and I'll work here in Punjab. So I was in Ahmedabad doing a research with IIM Ahmedabad and Teach for India at that time. So I think that's when I got exposed to policy, public policy. I met few people at IIM and in Teach for India who helped me to look at policy from a very different lens. That's when I started looking at like how does education policy or implementation of policy look like in Punjab. And not just, I think, education policy, I think we started talking about what the state has been experiencing, drugs, migration, that how all those things are, youth is unemployable, how these things are the consequences of something very deeper which the state has been experiencing. So I think that's when a bunch of us, we came together and we started talking about what can we do. We decided to come back in 2017. So we traveled for almost a year. We met bureaucrats, we met academicians, people who are working in different parts of the state to understand the root causes of things. So I think after a travel of 10 months, we came to 3 pointers. That one, we will have to strengthen the public system. और ये भी पता था कि ये कोई 5 या 10 साल का काम नहीं है, because there have been people who have given their lives to in public service. तो ये तो था कि मुश्किल तो है ही. Second was that we'll have to definitely channelize the energy of youth, because youth wants to do something for Punjab, youth जो पंजाब में है और the diaspora as well. But क्या कर सकते हैं, कैसे कर सकते हैं, Third was that it's not something which only Sanji Sikya will have to do. We can have expertise in one or two domains, but we'll have to bring in more partners who wants to take up different puzzle pieces and want to work. So this journey was started in 2017. That's where we are right now.
That's in fact very, very inspirational as well as path-breaking, because you could have thought of, having a very cushiony job and not get into, social entrepreneurship or joining an NGO. So that in itself is commendable. To have the thought of serving society, and you belong to, you come from rural Punjab, and then, breaking a lot of boundaries and creating room for yourself, that is really inspirational. Robert Frost once wrote, "Two roads diverge in a wood, and I chose the less traveled by." So you, in fact, that way you have chosen the less traveled road. So what do you think were the challenges or the unexpected rewards that you experienced during this journey?
I'll touch upon 2 pointers. One, like you said, I know we are talking about Punjab, and I think most of or few of you will have different opinion. Having a female on the seat is not something which is very easy for everyone to accept. So I think that's something which till date I won't say I fight with, but that's something I think which takes away a lot of energy to find that gender battle for sure. Second, I would say I think in last 9 years we have met a lot of people from Punjab who wants to do something for Punjab, and I think this movement has been happening because of them. Some of them are working as full-time in our team. Some of them are, very really good sarpanches, teachers, district education officers, IAS officers we have met. I think...
Yeah, this is a collective movement, so yes. I'm sure you have a very robust support system as well to continue and, be with this journey. They say founders don many hats, and you are the co-founder. So sometimes you're the teacher, sometimes you're the mentor, sometimes you're the fundraiser. So that way I think sometimes you are a counselor and dreamer also, the way you envision, Sanji Sikya, how it would shape in the coming years. So out of these roles, what is the most fulfilling role for you so far?
I think after 8 years, most of my time goes in the office, with the laptop, with the team members, in conversation. But I think what I always look forward to is when I am in a school, when I am sitting with a panchayat in a Gram Sabha, talking about the village, talking about the dynamics there, talking about what they want to do, planning together for the village, for the school. I think that's always a high point for me of my day or a month, or a fulfilling moment, I would say. Yeah.
I was so fascinated by the name of this NGO, Sanji Sikya, which is so deeply rooted in the tradition and culture of Punjab. So Sanji, which is shared, shared education. What does the word shared signify to you? Is it shared responsibility, shared hope? What does shared mean to you?
This is something which reflects in our approach also, which is that we don't, and Sanji Sikya, we don't want to create a parallel system. That's, I think, pretty clear. Focus is that जो जिस role पे है, कैसे वो अपना role अच्छे से निभा पाए. If it's a teacher, if it's a parent, if it's a district education officer, if it's a block level officer or a state level officer, how each one of them can play their important part in the puzzle piece. I think that's what we have been working towards, and that's, I think, to your question, shared responsibility or shared ownership. That's how, to us, it looked like in our day-to-day action.
We have been talking about youth, and we know many youth want to volunteer, to be a part of NGOs or to do something like this. But where do they start from? Even if we talk about Sanji Sikya, how does that awareness come from? Are you doing something? Are you very active on social media? How are you making your presence felt?
One, like I shared in the beginning also that the first thing which we understood that we'll have to channelize youth's energy for sure for the larger good of the state. So we run a fellowship program called Punjab Youth Leaders Program. The intention is to give a platform to youth who wants to work in Punjab. It's a 2 years fellowship program. And after 8 years, now there are like 100 plus youngsters who have graduated and are working within the state. Some of them are part of the system. Some of them have started their own enterprises. And some of them, like right now, 70% of them are working with the state education department on different projects. Second, definitely, I think is volunteering opportunity and internships. But I would also say that these are something which can always be done. I would invite them to just spend a day with us when we are in a village, we are visiting panchayat, we are meeting teachers, to understand it more or experience it more closely and then decide how they want to contribute. So yeah.
So basically, beyond collecting certificates and building their resumes, what do you think these fellows, what is the important takeaway from them? Does that learning or that takeaway stay with them once they have joined you, and from there they might start their own journey? Some of them, as you mentioned, have worked with you even after completing the internship or the fellowship that you offer.
I think what a main learning and which we also focus on is like how to bring people together and how to hold that group. Because as individuals, we will always be outsiders. Even in Punjab also, if I'm visiting my village, that's where I can actually be felt like, oh, I'm from here. But let's say if I'm meeting a panchayat in Fatehgarh Sahib, obviously I'll be an outsider there because I don't live there. So I think there's a very core skill, I would say, which we focus on is how to bring people together and then how to hold conversations or facilitate those conversations.
So do you think you train the youth or the people who come for fellowships, you train them in these skills?
Yes.
Or they just are enthusiastic to come and join Sanji Sikhya, but they are not skilled enough. So do you impart those skills also to them?
Yeah. We have been doing it very structurally. There's a proper 3-month selection.
That's what I want to know. I mean, how do you structure it?
It's a very there's a selection process in place. It's a 3-month long process. And after that, there is a whole month-long induction program we focus on. And then for 2 years, obviously, one is the work which they are doing. But secondly, there are regular workshops for them. Every youngster, every young fellow gets a mentor they work closely with. So, जितना काम पे focus है, उतना ही उनकी learning पे भी है. That because only then they'll be able to do what they are doing in the community.
So it's very important to build that skill set for them to contribute effectively. Yeah. So okay, from now, from being the co-founder, Ishpreet, let us talk a little bit about you yourself. So you have been working in the field of education, framing policies, working with the youth, granting fellowships, and a lot more responsibility you've been owning up. So that becomes, I think, sometimes you also feel burnout or stressed out. So what is your stress buster?
I think sports. I have been a sports person all my life. So I think बीच में 3-4 साल नहीं हुआ, but now I think religiously I decide के every evening either I go for a cycling in the night. That's a non-negotiable for me now. Or sports. I go out to play twice a week. So yeah, that's something which I do.
Oh, that is something I did not know. Now, being an academician, this one is a very expected question. Do you read books?
I do.
Okay, any book that you can think of, you've read recently, anything that has stayed with you?
मैं political और history पे ज़्यादा चीज़ें पढ़ती हूँ. I think शायद पता नहीं because I come from rural background and that's something which interests me a lot. So there's this book, I think this I make it a point that I read it every year, which is India Commits Suicide. It was written by a professor from Punjab University, which talks about journey of Punjab from 1947 to 87. So yeah, I think that's my go-to book every year for sure.
So you are so rooted in Punjab, even the books that you are reading are all about Punjab. That's interesting to know. Okay, one last question. Any alternative career option you could have thought of, besides being the full-time co-founder of Sanji Sikya?
I think agar guidance milti to I would have definitely become a sports coach, which I still want to be. So yeah.
It's never too late, yeah. You can keep trying, and that will be an additional hat that you can don. Yeah, thank you so much. And Ishmeet, okay, one last question that I want to ask, because she seemed so reserved. Ishmeet, an introvert or extrovert? How would you define yourself?
I think I'm very selective when it comes to Punjab. I mean, अगर पंजाब के बारे में बात करनी है or about work, I think I can go for hours. But if it's something I have to talk about myself, I'll be introvert for sure.
She told me so much about this Sanji Sikya, so we had like half an hour conversation around it, and yeah, she was all. And otherwise, I felt maybe you are a little introvert, so. All right, omnivert maybe. Thank you so much. Thank you for this wonderful conversation. And for the audience, if you have any question, and if Ishpreet could tell us about collaboration also, if, any awareness regarding this.
Before you answer this, you did talk about the challenge that you had, but you did not talk about the reward that you had during this journey. One reward that you had.
Simply put, नींद अच्छी आती है. I'll be very honest. Yeah.
I think doing something sincerely.
Yeah. वो important है. Challenges all, I think वो हमें रहेंगे because the kind of work which all of us have chosen to do. But I think at the end of the day, yes. Yeah.
When I told Sunaina ma'am that this is going to be a 10-12 minute conversation, she was like, only this much? And now I understand, because she was so into the conversation. I think this was one add-on factor to this beautiful conversation, equal parts heartfelt and empowering. So huge round of applause for these ladies. And now may I please invite Ms. Navneet Sandhu to kindly come forward and felicitate our speakers. Thank you so much, sir. And now we move to a conversation that's about to raise the energy in the room. On the hot seat, we have Ms. Shibani Kashyap, a powerhouse performer, singer, composer, and global artist whose music has traveled across stages, countries, and millions of hearts. And joining her on the cool seat is Mr. Hardeep Chandpuri, journalist, broadcaster, author, and someone who has quite literally lived across every medium possible, print, radio, television, and beyond. So this one will bring a lot of stories, music, and maybe a few moments where all of us wish that you would sing, ma'am. Please welcome them both with a huge round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, a great honor to have Shibani Kashyap with me. Welcome to Chandigarh. I'll start with something, nostalgic. In the 90s or mid-90s, we would all travel to Delhi in our cars, and if we had our radios on, so we would try and fiddle with the knob and come to a station which we thought we liked, and we liked it really nice. And a very, very lovely voice would hit your ears. And that was a jingle from AIR FM. And Shibani?
So I think before I even speak, I can sing it out.
Yeah.
So many years ago, this is a blast from the past. That's how I began my career. You've got the music coming night and day. FM is ready for you in the morning or late at night. Whoa, you're gonna let the music play. AIR, FM stereo, all the time. on All India Radio.
Yeah, so nice, We were used to listening All India Radio saying, आइए आपको सुनाते हैं गाना जिसे गाया है और जिसका संगीत दिया है. And on the other side we have Shivani singing. A huge round of applause for her, please.
Thank you so much.
The music industry has seen a lot of singers and bands that were very popular in the mid 90s or early 90s. They were what I would call it. They were the Ranji Trophy for the mainstream music. Like the Ranji Trophy feeds the Indian cricket team with younger talent. So we had Sharan Prabhakar, we had Usha Utthap, Indian Ocean, Indus Creed, Alisha Chenoy. When we Punjabis would call it Alisha Chennai. So that was there. And they...
That's funny.
Yeah. And you know what? They laid a huge foundation for the next generation to come in. So now we find it totally missing. There are hardly any. Your views on that?
That's true. So all the singers coming from the 90s generation were like, we are called the OGs, like originals, because, we were not copying anyone and we were doing something which was very, I would say, like giving our own, bringing something to the world which is our own speciality, our own voice, our own signature, our own culture, so to speak. Everybody was actually being followed by people that I love. Alisha Chenoy's song, or I love this one's voice. This is this one's music. Then in the late 90s, when I sort of debuted in the field of indie pop music with the album called Ho Gayi Hai Mohabbat, suddenly there was this whole wave of Ho Gayi Hai Mohabbat Girl and all of that, because everything was original. We were not copying anyone, and especially not Bollywood at that point in time, because Bollywood was another world. Indie pop was another world. So I think that's what really set us apart, and that's what inspired all the other generations to follow us or to do something like us. But today it's a bit of a khichdi, I would say.
And in those days, we had a lot of jingle singers who eventually became really big names. And you were known as a queen of jingles, am I right?
I started my career singing jingles.
Any favorite you can remember? You can sing it for us.
Oh my gosh, so many. Nescafe. I was in a voice for Nescafe, for Maggie Noodles, for Archie says you care. The Archie's Cards one. And then, of course, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and my God, so many brands. So, yeah, I think I used to just live amongst the brands, being an unsung hero, because nobody really knew who the voice was. People used to listen to my voice, and I said, that's my voice. I had to tell people. So jingles was like being an unsung hero. But it's only when I started singing for albums, I came out with my own album, Ho Gayi Hai Mohabbat, with HMV Saregama, and that became like a huge hit. That's when people got to know, okay, this is Shibani Kashyap. Till then, nobody knew who I was. They just probably knew the voice.
Do we still have albums coming out these days, or just singles or YouTube launches?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's just about singles, maybe some EPs. And I still feel that, unless you hit it in Bollywood as a playback singer, you're still not really accepted as a singer, So Bollywood is definitely like still the huge and a big picture.
I heard your latest song, Sarfira, and there's a huge element of hip hop and Gen Z stuff, which is very relevant now in the last few days.
Yeah.
So that Gen Z thing, was it at that time when you recorded? Maybe that was not what the target audience was.
Like a year ago. Yeah.
Tell us something about that. How did that shift come over?
So apart from all the songs that all of you have known me for, like Sajna, Bija, and Ho Gayi Hai Mohabbat, Zinda Hu Main, and some other soulful and very romantic songs that I'm kind of more inclined towards, I decided to do something a little different, because I was interacting a lot with the Gen Z, and I felt that they have their own world, they have their own lingo, their own jargon, their own dressing up. I mean, they talk to you like, you can dip now. Because my niece is Gen Z, so I said, what do you mean dip now? You can go now. You can. So, and if they say that this is really nice, no, they won't say that. Crazy. This is crazy. This is sick. Yeah. That's another word for wow, like wow, beautiful. So everything is like you really need to adapt yourself to be with the Gen Zs. And I felt, to be honest with you, I felt that for a long time, Gen Zs did not know my songs and me. I was like, oh my God, there's a huge gap. You know, whenever I do a show, people who are in their 40s and maybe their late 30s and obviously in their 50s, they all know my songs. They all sing my songs, but the Gen Zs are blank. So I'm like, I need to bridge this gap somehow. So I came up with a track called Sarfira, which actually describes the Gen Z whole attitude. Like, they are Sarfiras. And you saw that in the past
Yeah, big time.
25 days, what has been happening. They are Sarfiras. They've actually turned this whole protest into a comedy. I mean, they looked at it in a very comical sort of a way. So hats off to them, firstly. And I'm so glad I did this song. I mean, of course, my song came out in April. But it was a song which is dedicated to Gen Zs because I got 4 of them in my song. They featured as hip-hop artists, singer, rapper, b-boying dancer. It was crazy, you know, like such a huge gap, generation gap. But I really enjoyed working with them. Their energy is unparalleled, yeah. Seriously.
So some of your songs, you know, like Sajna, Abhija, they're still so relevant even today, you know, when you listen to
Thank
them.
you.
And they're so beautiful. A few lines from that also, please. I'm being very, very jealous.
नहीं लगता तेरे बिना दिल मेरा हाय नहीं लगता तेरे बिना दिल मेरा सजना आ भी जा सजना आ ही जा. And if you all know the song, it will be lovely to have a line from you people also. Sing along. Sajna. Lovely, very melodious even. Sajna. नहीं लगता तेरे बिना
Dil mera.
हाय नहीं लगता तेरे बिना. Everybody sing together. दिल मेरे सजना आ भी जा सजना आ ही जा.
So nice.
Thank you so much.
So if we give you a chance to collaborate with any 2 singers, one from India, one from abroad, who would that be?
Wow, that's a lovely question. So from abroad, of course, my all-time favorite has been Sting. I'm sure you know Sting.
Police, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
of course. The Police, and then of course Sting. I'm a die-hard fan of Sting, and I'm very scared of very, very big crowds. I mean, I love them in my show, but if I have to go and see somebody's concert, I get really, I have this really like fear of I have that claustrophobia wala situation. But for Sting, I went to the Lollapalooza festival last year, and he was performing here in India, in Mumbai. And oh my gosh, I'm a huge die-hard fan of Sting. So I'd love to collaborate with him. But I've also had the good fortune of collaborating with 2 amazing, I would say, international musicians. One is Ricky Cage, who's a thrice Grammy Award-winning musician and composer. So we've done a song on world peace, which I would love all of you to listen to because, in times like this where war is just, an ongoing thing these days, I believe that music can, send a message and bring about a change in the world because music has that power. So it's a peace anthem, and if you just type Shibani Kashyap and Ricky Cage, you would see this song. Would love it. And of course, Big Mountain. Okay. I collaborate with Big Mountain. I don't know how many of you heard that song.
I love your way.
Ooh, baby, I love your way. I don't know how many of you heard that. So yeah, I had the good fortune of collaborating with these 2. But of course, on the Indian side, I've collaborated with Mikka. Okay. Mikka is a very dear friend also. But I would love to collaborate with Arijit Singh, who truly is, I think, my favorite singer. And, he sings my song Sajna Abhi Ja in his concerts, and I feel, wow, I just feel completely overwhelmed because of that. But his voice and his, the way he expresses his expression, his feel, it's awesome. I think he's one of the best singers that India has ever had, after Kishore Da.
Any collaboration that you thought would happen but it didn't?
No. When I start something, it has to happen.
What do you have to say about the Indian singers going into the stratosphere, Diljit and everybody, So that's a good sign for Indian music?
Absolutely. I mean, putting India on the map making Indian music global, which is Diljit Dosanjh. I think big shout out for him. Let's all clap for him. I'm a huge fan, and I think he's a huge inspiration because he is paving the way for so many other artists. So there's hope yet.
So you see, when you started your career in the 90s, early 90s, right?
No, late 90s.
Late-
I think yes, my jingle career was
Yeah.
96, yeah.
So how have you seen the industry move in every direction except straight? So can you tell us something what it was and what it is now?
So he's funny, right? I think he must be entertaining all of you on the radio airwaves with his with his amazing comic talk, but which is true also. Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to going to his studio and recording with him.
Yeah, we'll do it
on a
too.
live
Yeah, yeah.
live show soon sometime. Yes. I think from the organic time when we used to have audio cassettes and CDs and the Planet M's and all that used to be there, and I used to come to Chandigarh a lot to the Planet M here to actually promote my songs and my album because we used to have fans come and we used to sign the CDs. It was like a tangible thing that you're giving to your fans. Then the digital world came and everything is like on a click now, and now it's AI which is kind of proving to be a bit of a threat as well to the music world.
Yeah, I was coming to that only, How has AI, is it a challenge? Is it a threat? Or is it something you're comfortable with?
So initially AI was like this, little toy that a kid gets and everybody starts playing with that toy. Wow, yeah, maza aa raha hai, to kya hai? And so AI is, of course, it should be used like a supporting tool or a assistant. But it's now beginning to, it's a bit scary, but it's beginning to kind of replace voices, writers, composers, music arrangers, and that's not cool because it's at the end of the day, all those voices and the sounds that you're hearing are coming from a particular source, and we have a legal team now working on what the source is, and there will very soon be copyright issues coming to releases which are totally made out of AI, because it's just not fair to release something like monetize that. Already YouTube is not allowing any monetization on AI-made videos, on completely AI-made videos. So I think I feel it's a short-lived thing, but yes, it should be used to sort of help you, assist you. It should not be like a
So aren't the music people
substitute.
scared, that their voices might be used in a way that they won't want them without any copyright the money is being paid?
So right now the legal department is working, twice
Okay.
as hard, and images, personality, voices, everything is being, copyrighted. So anything which has a semblance to your voice or your face, or even any particular dialogue that an actor is famous for example, that's copyrighted. So if somebody kind of uses that in AI, it's going to be blocked. It's going to be completely taken off. So it's not like AI can get away with so much. But I feel it's a short-lived wave. It will not be able to replace. And also when you hear, me as a musician, when I hear those AI songs and AI voices, it's for me like, oh, it's AI, and I completely can't listen to it because it doesn't have soul. The second line also which comes, it's sung exactly like the first line. If I were to sing a song, when I sing the second line, I would sing it with a different twist, with a different emotion. So it sounds very emotionless. So you can't move people with that emotionlessness. That's what I feel. And I have complete belief in this.
Yeah, because in the late 90s and early 2000s, copyright meant the right to copy. Or you copy it right. कि सही तरीके
I
से
told
copy
you he's
करिए
funny.
इसको. तो because we would never think twice about it, copying a song, we used to have those double deck tapes, just copy another one, give it to your friend and duplicate it in whichever way you can.
Yeah. That was
today's-
called piracy.
That was saving money, So in today's times, as you talk about the Gen Z, so they all want short based content, So how does music fit in this kind of a scenario?
So I just, I believe that the short form content, like, the verticals and the reels, or Instagram reels and all of that, and YouTube shorts, I think they are used to promote a particular song or a film or whatever. At the end of the day, there's Spotify and all the other audio streaming platforms which have the complete song which people listen to while they're driving or when they're listening to it at home. I don't think any song which is like a 30-seconder can actually define what the song is all about. It's not enough. It's just a little glimpse of what the song is. It's like a trailer. So it cannot be the content. You can't consume that content and say, yeah, you can decide and say, okay, this is good or this is not good. You have to listen to the whole thing and understand the feeling, the expression, and the story.
You're here for a new innings, You are here for music training. Tell us something about that.
Yes, I'm really excited that I'm going to be launching my music course, vocal singing course. And my partner, promoter sitting right here, thanks to Ankur Malhotra and Trinity, I'm here and I'll be launching it in various colleges and schools. So I'm really excited about that because I think all these years I've learned so much, 25 years in my career, and I think what my experience has taught me is so valuable that I really want to give it back to all the talent which wants to come forth. I would love to teach that to the students because for me, I think that what I've learned on the job or on stage or off stage or in the studio is absolutely something which I'm dying to bring forth to the students.
So if you could go back from today's Shivani to the Shivani who just started a career, what advice would you give her?
My younger Shibani. I don't know. I think it's been a very natural and very amazing journey for me. And I don't know. I don't know if I could have given her the advice because I followed my dream. That Shibani was also very passionate. She followed her passion and her dreams. And today also I'm as passionate and as dreamy-eyed about my music. So I've always been focused. I've never sort of digressed from the point. It's always been music for me, whether it's music composition, singing, performing, playing the guitar, recording in a studio, creating songs, collaborating with other artists. It's always been just music. I've never digressed into anything else. I can't see myself being a restaurateur or an interior designer or a fashion designer. I can't think of anything else but being a musician. And today, a music course is something which is the natural progression of what I would love to do so that I can, bring forth whatever I have learned in my career so far.
So has there been any moment on stage where things haven't gone as per plan?
So many times.
And how do you adjust?
I think those kind of, goof ups or things happen so many times, like the sound, the mic is not coming on. There's a technical...
I saw a video of a singer who was singing, lip syncing, and he's still lip syncing and the sound goes off, It's there on YouTube.
So there should be a law against lip syncing because in the West there is. You cannot be lip syncing, sorry. But in India, we still have artists who lip sync and then they should at least learn how to lip sync properly. Because mic यहाँ जाता है और उनकी आवाज़ अभी तक बज रही होती है. So it's kind of embarrassing, but it's okay, I guess.
There was a Punjabi singer, who got a big break and his song did really well. तो बेचारे की आवाज़ अब उतनी अच्छी नहीं रही स्टेज के लिए. So that's what happened. So before we go and sign off, last song, your choice.
Okay, so before I do the Gen Z song, I'll sing Ho Gayi Mohabbat for all of you here. Because that's a song I began my career with and he's been saying 90s. So let me start with that one. And I'll do a few lines of Sarfara for sure. Yes. Ho gayi hai mohabbat tumse आए पलकों में ख्वाब बन के रह गए सर आँखों पर बड़े हैं एहसान तुम पे दिल में किया जो बसर वो मिल गई है अमानत तुमसे हो गई है मोहब्बत चंडीगढ़ से
Thank you very much, Shivani. It was great talking to you.
Oh, Sarfira. Okay. Oh, yeah.
चलो एक और गा लो.
Okay. So it's kind of crazy, this song. It's not very normal. फैसला नया है, इरादा जवां है, चाहे सजा है, फिर भी मजा है. खेल तेरा शर्तें तेरी, खेल तेरा शर्तें तेरी, बंदूकें भी हिफाजत मेरी, हदों को भी बेहद करे, गुमनामी भी तेरा नाम. तू सरफिरा, तू सरफिरा, तू सरफिरा, तू. Thank you.
चलता नहीं है. जब इशारा कर रहे थे मेरे को तो नहीं कुछ कह रहे थे कुछ.
नहीं नहीं.
Thank
There's
you.
a lot of rap and all which I don't remember because I don't know क्या क्या उन्होंने बोला उन बच्चों ने उसमें.
I hope you know what they said.
No, they no profanities which because I said in my world there cannot be no abuse and profanities. But they talked about Lord Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, mera mantar hai, chahe tu bhi tantar hai, all of that stuff. I can't rap, but they've done a great job. They're amazing. And they wrote it on the spot. They are so creative. They're so talented. Let me name them. Siroi, she's quite a, I would say, talented singer and rapper. Then there is B-Boy Young. He's a very young, like a 19-year-old boy who does a break dance very well. Then there is Neezy. I'm sure you've heard the rapper Neezy. He's also there in this song. And there is Yeda Anna. Yeah.
That's it. Thank you so much, Shivani. It was great talking to you. And thank you for being a wonderful audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry you all have to hear my manly voice after hearing this beautiful melodious voice. And I think it's safe to say, ho gayi hai mohabbat with the music and the moment, and thank God Zinda hu main to witness this. And please have a huge round of applause. And a huge round of applause for Shibani ma'am's husband, Mr. Rajiv Roda, who is an actor, producer, master of ceremonies, moderator and storyteller, and I'm sure a supporter also. Oh, is it? I think, sir, if we could, just one shairi, quickly. Can we, Vivek sir? One shair, quickly.
Hi everyone, very good evening, and thank you for bringing me to the stage. Well, it was Shibani's and Sir's moment. But ये शेर जो था, एक शायरी तो मैं करता हूँ, but शेर था for Shibani's song Sajna Abhi Ja. So Shibani, if you can do the lines, then it'll add value to the शेर completely.
पलकों पे ख्वाब सजाना, अखियों से नींद चुराना, रूठे पिया को हंस के मनाना, ये हकीकत है यहाँ के फसाना, ये हकीकत है यहाँ के फसाना.
हाँ, ये हकीकत है, न कोई फसाना. हाँ, ये हकीकत है, न कोई फसाना. इश्क के दो साज हैं, रूठना मनाना. हंसती रहो तुम इसी तरह, सचती रहो तुम इसी तरह, गाती रहो तुम इसी तरह मोहब्बत का तराना. ये वादा है मेरा कि रहूँगा सदा तेरा दीवाना. So this शायरी was written for the song for Shibani, and on which I actually proposed to her. I think we were in Chandigarh only. Ludhiana. We were walking for a fashion show, and then she came up with the idea कि मेरे गाने के ऊपर कुछ शायरी करो तो कुछ पढ़ लो कहीं से. So then I think half an hour I wrote this as an answer to her Sajna, and that's how I became her Sajna. Thank you so much.
How beautifully you complete each other. Such a power couple, I would say. And may I please invite Mrs. Sonia Arora to come forward and felicitate our speakers. So we would love to have you on stage along with ma'am. And now, as we come to the final segment of the evening, it's time to hear from the person who brought this vibrant platform together. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Vivek Atre for the closing remarks.
Good evening, everyone, and Simran, very well done. You were the first one on the stage, so I must acknowledge you. Let's have a round of applause for all the speakers today. Really engaging conversations of the hot seat, cool seat variety. And we used to call this the hot seat event, but then we weren't acknowledging the cool seat. So we decided to acknowledge the person asking the questions as well. And I think it's a great concept, even if I say it myself. The first conversation was Supreet and Navita. And Supreet, I must say that I've started admiring you more than before, because you were just very cool on the hot seat. And Navita is an experienced, spontaneous broadcaster. I've been on her show and I'm meeting her again tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. So I know that she's always effervescent. But Supreet, your calmness and the way you answer the questions, fantastic. So let's have a round of applause for that first one. And let me see if I can get all the names right. Then next we had Samir and Anshuman. Now Samir is a close friend, been a friend for many years, and as he said, even my wife Nina was 1 year senior to you, right? I was 3 years senior to him in college, NIT, and I've seen him grow, I've seen him bloom, blossom, and the way Samir has become today a personality, I told him when he came off stage, I said, Samir, you're impeccable. And when Anshuman actually asked him, what would you like to remove from your personality, and he said nothing, I could identify with that. So full compliments to you, Samir. And also Anshuman came as a 19-year-old intern, and Mrs. Arora is here, his mom, to me when he was 19 in 2019, so you can guess how much he is in 2026. So the thing is that he has grown into this gentleman who's an entrepreneur and joined his family business. And although Nikita is looking after Vibrant now, but Anshuman is there. And we need Anshuman there. And Samir was just complimenting the way he was on the where are you right now, Anshuman? Oh, you're here. Oh, you're in the right place there. Which reminds me of an anecdote which I must, one of them at least. Neeru Nanda ma'am used to be the advisor of Chandigarh administration to the governor. And I was doing pretty well with the IT park and a few other things, so pretty popular. But she was very happy with me for her pet project, which was basically sericulture and recycling of waste, which was not in my priorities at all. She gave me an outstanding report for that project and not for IT and everything else. I said, ma'am, she said, you got an outstanding, na? I said, yeah, but ma'am, this is not what I should have got it for. So Anshuman often gets credit for other things, but he's really good at his work. You know, the third conversation was something that was so delightful. I was astounded by the spontaneity and the rapport that Jupinder and Nithya could have developed in such a short while. They had to leave because Nithya actually has a migraine which has been persisting since yesterday. And you wouldn't have guessed with her answers and the way she was. Oh, bullet ke upar khade hoke CM ko awaaz dena. And you know, she's talking in Punjab, a Bangalore girl who drives a Bolt. And you know, she's like amazing the way she was. I learned a few things about Nithya which I didn't know. And she's come all the way from Delhi, first time by train, Nikita. You managed that, well done. You got Nithya on a train for the first time ever. So Vibrant Forum is going places by all means. And Jupinder is, so I told Jupinder, I said, when we need someone of your class and quality, then we call you. So Jupinder was absolutely fabulous as well. Understated and bringing out the best. They're not here right now, as I said, but I'm sure Nithya will feel better soon. Her migraine is back, so she's suffering a bit. The fourth one was touching. I was earthy and it was meaningful. And Samir was telling me that he's also supporting Sanji Sikya, which is great. And I remember meeting Simar maybe long ago, discussing it. And you also happen to know Spriha and Pranav. You may know them, my daughter and son-in-law, and they are also in the same space, so the social sector. So when you're talking about policy and social sector, and Sunaina ma'am was bringing out the best from you, I think we were touched, and I think we all feel in this hall that perhaps we should have or should do more for society. And my piece today was in the Hindustan Times in my column, Random Forays, which is part of my book, Not So Randomly Yours. My piece was Young Voices Deserve Respect. And I think Ishpreet, you deserve a lot of respect. So round of applause for Ishpreet as well, please. And Sunaina, she was, if I can say so, she was like your student, but you brought out the best in her, despite you yourself not being too well. So thank you for making it. And what do we say about the final, did I get all of them? Okay. The final conversation, Shibani ma'am. I'm calling you ma'am only as a mark of respect, otherwise you're much younger a little younger than me or whatever. And Mr. Rhoda, who floored you in Ludhiana. You should remember the place where you wooed her. Chandigarh and Ludhiana can't be confused with each other. Chandigarh and Ludhiana, starkly different places. And Ankur, thank you for bringing Shivani here. I was reminding you that I was Director of Culture and Tourism when you came and performed, maybe in the Rose Festival or the Carnival. These are the two things we were up to at that time. And I think you've always been that very effervescent, energetic, enthusiastic, and that invigorating personality. And how well you sing without music. I mean, I know music is not allowed on this stage because we don't have the license to, otherwise we would have had you singing. But Ankur, you bringing her with music workshops, you're tying up for that. Fabulously well done. And Vibrant Forum, thank you for being here once again. You're all part of this forum, and it's you who bring to life these moments. And I think Chandigarh has become more charming because of Vibrant Forum. And I think more people have started being drawn to it. And one person I want to acknowledge who's sitting at long off at this moment is Mr. Vishal Kalia. And he's going to hold the catch on the boundary. Bahar man nikal jana, boundary se 6 ho jayega. But the point is that Vishal Kalia has been a stalwart behind our efforts for a long time. Some of you are old friends, some of you are new friends. But Vibrant Forum persists, and it carries on, and it will carry on in this manner. And we've got some really exciting stuff coming up in future as well. And Nikita, thank you for putting this together. Anyone else I need to thank? Simran, I already praised. I think you're one of the best anchors in North India. Thank you very much. Super. A great evening, and I think the bar is open, but it's going to close very quickly, so please go. Thank you, and warm welcome once again, and thank you for being here.